morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout out goes to Michael Barber's Z8F. Michael was first to say first in one of my recent videos, and thus wins the shout out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have a review of a neat new airplane for you today, folks. This is the Flybear FX9631 electrical ducted fan J-35 fighter jet. Now, I've been reviewing Flybear aircraft for many years, folks. About 10 years, I'm guessing. It was the first one I reviewed way back when I was flying out in the desert. And Flybear, for the most part, when you say Flybear, you'd think of two-channel beginner aircraft. Well, they've come a long way since those early days, folks. And now this is a cool one here that I deserve to show you. That I wanted to show you. I'm sorry, not to use the word deserve, but I want to show you this one. Now, electrical ducted fan. Let's talk about that first. This is not going to fly the same as a propeller-driven aircraft. EDF are a breed of their own, okay? They accelerate rather slowly, and I'll talk about that as when we go flying. But because of that slow acceleration, you know, they accelerate slowly, but they get up to speed with time. If you give them the gun there and let them pick up some speed, they get up to speed. But because of the slow acceleration, you got to be careful how you fly these. Okay, if you do any sharp banking turns, it's going to bog it down and stall out the aircraft. You got to get it up to speed and mainly do long straight runs with gradual slow turns. You don't want to do too hard of a turn, because if you slow them down, you will stall these. Okay, you'll be bogging them down, and they'll just come wallowing down into the ground. You'll actually, I'll probably demonstrate that when we go out in the field. But the main idea of EDF jets is for looks. They look great in the air. Once you get them in the air, get them up to speed, they actually look like real jets flying through the air. They also kind of sound like it because of the high-speed whining of the ducted fan motor. Now, again, let's get back to talking about Flybear FX9631. Now, this is the second of their ducted fans that I've seen. They came out previously with a FX9630 last year, which had brushed motors. They had two dual brushed ducted fan motors inside there and a little 3.7 volt battery. The performance of that, it was actually not too bad, but with that 3.7 volt battery, it just didn't give it enough oomph in most cases for a good flight. There was a second version that came out later with it. It's kind of hard to find that one, but it was a 7.4 volt battery version. It gave it extra power. But the original 9630, it was kind of weak in its power because of that 3.7 volt battery. Now let's talk about this. They went back to the drawing board, Flybear did, and came out with a ducted fan version with a brushless motor. I don't know if you can see it in there or not, folks, but it's in there, right about there. This ducted fan motor. Maybe I can show it through the tailpipe there. But it's a single ducted fan motor. And because of that, this particular aircraft, they're advertising it as a 4-channel. It's not 4-channel, folks. There is no yaw control. There's no rudder control. The 9630 did have some yaw control because of the dual motors. It had differential thrust. It was weak, but it was there. Okay. But now we don't have yaw control anymore with this latest version. To turn this one, you got to do yanking and banking, actually banking and yanking, where you give it some bank and then pull back on the stick to turn it. So in reality, this version of 9631 is a true three-channel aircraft. Okay, so let's keep that in mind when we're talking about it, because we have no yaw control on this particular aircraft. Now, I didn't mention the weight. This thing weighs only 147 grams with the battery installed. And what does that mean? That means that this aircraft does not require registration or remote ID in most countries, folks. It's light enough that you don't need to do that. So it's additionally it's ready to fly aircraft. It comes with a bound controller ready to go with the aircraft. All you need to do is charge up the batteries, put batteries in the controller. It takes 3 AA's, I believe. Yeah, 3 AA's, and you're ready to go flying. Constructed of flexible, crash-resistant EPP foam, of course. as most aircraft are these days. And I mentioned it's powered by a brushless motor now with the 9631. And in particular, it's a 1335 brushless ducted fan motor. The motor is powered by, this time, with the 9631, by 2S. They've gone to 2S, 7.4 volt, 650 milliamp per hour battery. Now, this is going to give it, it's going to be about under 5 minutes, I'm guessing, folks, when we take it out in the field. But, EDFs, let's talk about EDF brushless motors. They take a lot of power, okay? And again, you got to fly these EDFs at high speeds to prevent that bogging down. So we're going to be flying at high throttle. I'm going to guess with 650 milliamp per hour that we're going to get about 5 minutes of flight time, or maybe under 5 minutes. We'll find out when we get out in the field. I'll be surprised though if we do get above 5 minutes of flight time with this particular aircraft. Let's take a closer look at the aircraft under the hood. This is the battery compartment for the airplane. If we look under the hood here, we see the flight control board underneath there. It has two available prongs or sprockets there, plugs. Hold on. Okay, I looked at the manual. It's not listed in the manual what these plugs are for, but they're three-pronged. I'm going to guess they are power ports for auxiliary devices like lights, and I'm not sure what else you want to add. Maybe an FPV camera? We'll see. But I think they're auxiliary power ports. I could be wrong. So I'm sorry, folks. I don't know what those plugs are for on this particular flight control board. But let's look underneath the hood here in this section here, where you can see the brushless motor in there. And in front of the brushless motor, we have the electronic speed controller there in this area. Now notice we have air inlets, and we also have air inlet here. It's important for this brushless EDF to have as much opening as possible to suck in as much air as possible to produce thrust out of there. So that's why we have this large open area here. And it also provides cooling to the electronic speed controller underneath here. Now, also looking on the belly here, we see that this has 4 servos, folks. 4 servos to power the ailerons and also the elevators. Now, I mentioned this is 3-channel. Because of that, since we don't have any rudder, the controls of this are what are they called? Elevons. Elevon controller, where it's combined elevator and aileron control on this. Okay, they're not independent. Let's plug it in and I'll demonstrate that for you right now. So let's plug in the battery, make sure I get the poles right. And turning on the controller and binding it. But as you can see here, if I give it a left and right, both of them go on each side here. So it's elevon control, but we do have up and down elevator control, and aileron control. Makes it elevon. So when you want to turn, go diagonal like that, and it will yank and bank. So, but that'll make hard turns. Again, you're going to try to do gradual turns with this thing. So gradually bring it back like so to make low and slow turns if you can with this particular aircraft. Actually, slow turns. Slow and gradual so that you don't bog it down. Okay, other things about it. The controller has 3 selectable flight modes. We have beginner, which is full stabilization, preventing the aircraft from rolling over or tilting over. We also have an intermediate stabilized mode. Now, in this mode, they say you can do stunts, which I'm assuming it turns off the angle restrictions for doing maybe either, it's going to let you either do rolls or loops, or maybe even both. But we'll find out when we get out in the field. Again, try to get it up to speed, because you don't want to start off slow and try to give it throttle to go through a loop. It ain't going to do it with an EDF. It has to be going full speed before you even attempt that. It also has full manual control, like so, but this manual control is also slightly damped with gyro damping for preventing wind gusts from tilting the aircraft. So it does have some slight stabilization when you put it into manual mode with the controller. Other buttons on the controller, again, we got throttle, but no yaw control, no rudder control, in other words. We have elevator control, and we have aileron control, and again, it's elevon control in combination with elevator and aileron. On-off switches here, and we have, well, this is not going to do anything. Well, we have throttle control, but the The rudder trim controls is not going to work. These are trim buttons, by the way. But we do also have pitch trim and aileron trim there. Okay, elevator and aileron trim there. And finally, this button here is for the rates. You can change the bank angle or how fast it banks by pressing this button here. Again, I recommend try to do slow banks and probably fly it in B mode here to give you a little more turning authority with the aircraft in B. It's going to be rather slow turns. Maybe that's what you want to do. Again, since this is an EDF aircraft, try to do slow turns. And again, when I take it out in the field, what I'm going to be doing is long straight runs, slow gradual turns. Normally, I try to do figure eights close to the camera. I'm not going to be able to do it with this particular aircraft. We're going to be flying out of sight for a lot of the flight, but we're going to do high-speed passes. That's what I'm going to try to do to show you the aircraft up close flying when it goes flying by us on those long straight runs. So, okay, let's put the top back on. Okay, did I cover everything? I haven't covered the range of the transmitter. Transmitter range is predicted to be out to 200 meters. We'll see if that's true. By the way, you can also use a multi-protocol transmitter with this aircraft using the FX9630 protocol. If I get a chance, I'll try to demonstrate that when we go flying this particular aircraft. I'm just waiting for the weather to clear. It's been windy the past few days, and it's predicted to be windy the next few days. So, but eventually I'll get this out in the field. Okay, other things I wanted to talk about. The gamepad controller. I'm not really thrilled about the ABC switch they got here. I prefer toggle switches. Say if you're flying in manual mode and you get into trouble, you got to let go of one of your fingers here to get down here to switch this. With a toggle switch, it's easier to use your index finger to switch them. So that's one of the main reasons I'm not too thrilled about this controller, even though it has 200 meter span range. The controller also has a built-in timer beep that goes off every minute, and you are going to need to time the flights of this aircraft since it does not have LVC protection. Eventually, you're going to need to land this aircraft early. I recommend timing it and probably landing at about the 4-minute mark of this aircraft to protect your batteries. So, well, let's go over what you get in the box. You get the aircraft, of course. You get 1 or 2 batteries. I recommend getting 2 batteries because of the short flight time of EDFs. You're going to want that second battery, so I recommend getting it. You get a battery charger for those batteries. You get the controller. You get the instruction manual, which is very, very basic. But again, there's not much to this particular aircraft once we fly it up, other than what I just told you about ABC switch on that thing there. And also you get landing gear for the aircraft. Now, I'm going to fly mine without landing gear, and the reason being, again, I'm flying out in a grassy field, as I recommend everybody do if you want to protect your aircraft. I'm not going to be able to take off and land in a grassy field. I could try to take off from the dirt baseball diamond there in the field, but I don't think this is going to have enough power to do that because of the EDF motor. So I'm going to leave those landing gear off of the aircraft. And another reason you probably might want to consider leaving the landing gear off the airplane is to reduce the amount of drag on the aircraft so you can do high-speed flight. Now, there's one modification I've made to the aircraft I put under the nose cone here. I've taped a nickel, okay? I've seen other people's reviews of this aircraft, or one other person's review, and he mentioned that this aircraft is somewhat tail heavy, so I put the nickel on there to provide some additional weight to the nose of the aircraft to reduce the tail heaviness of this airplane and try to balance out the center of gravity. So that is the Flybear FX9631. I'm excited to fly it, folks. Let's take it out in the field and see how fast I can get it going. So, hope you enjoy this flight. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and welcome to the test flight of the FX9631 here at beautiful Pleasant Ridge Park. Okay, I've already got this bound to the aircraft. We are ready to take off, folks. I armed it with an up and down on the throttle, so you can hear the throttle. We're going to take off in beginner rate A, beginner setting, beginner mode, and we'll launch it in that area, or actually that area there since the wind's coming from there, giving it full throttle since it's an EDF. We're going to need to get some speed up on it, so here we go. There we go, not bad. Okay, gradual turns.
And a little bit downward trim. Increasing speed in the turn. More downward trim. Full throttle in the turn. Reducing power. I want it to come toward me. No throttle at all. Full throttle there. Zoom. I want to give it a little more downward trim. More downward trim. It's climbing. I still got, I put a nickel in the front there, and that improved its flyability greatly, folks, because before it was, look at that thing go. Oh, that's cool. Going to second rate, B. Those are so cool, these EDFs. I mean, they look like jets, sound like jets. Boom. This thing is cool. Now remember, you need to put a nickel in the, or some type of weight in the front there. I used a nickel. I just taped it to the front of the foam there, inside the nose cone, and that was sufficient. Oh man, this is fun to fly. This is neat. It looks so cool, and it sounds cool. Reducing throttle, and then increasing throttle since I got a turn. Man, I'll tell you, Flybear has come a long way since their early differential thrust toy planes. This is cool. Going to second rate. Zoomer. Coming around, going up. Let's go up a bit higher. Going to third rate. I did a roll there, folks. Went manual there for a second. Oh man, did you see that thing turn? Shouldn't do that with an EDF though. Remember, you can't accelerate as quickly. Gradual turns if you can. Zoom. Let's go up higher again. Still in manual. Back to beginner. I don't trust myself for this. Okay, I'm gliding. It's gliding. Wonderful plane there, Flybear. What have you done? What have you given us? Zoom. I love it. Now, look at that thing go. Zoomer. Going to B. Setting B. Wow. It's fast. Now, as a beginner's plane, I don't know. This thing is fast. It's a jet. I think we better start thinking about landing soon too, folks, because we've been flying for a while. Come to Papa. Zoom. It's windy too today, by the way, folks. It's doing okay in the wind. But yeah, now I took this out the other day, and out of the box, you really do need to put a weight on your nose. I mean, the CG is not balanced at all properly on this plane out of the box. But I simply tape that nickel to the front face of the foam, inside the nose cone there, that rubber nose cone that they give you, and it's perfect. I like this plane. Okay, I'm starting to give it more and more throttle, so we got to start thinking about landing here soon, folks. Full throttle right now. Yeah. So, coming in for a landing here. cool plane. Really cool plane. FX9631. Okay, compared, Flybear came out with that FX9630 with brushed motors. I think this one's a bigger hit. I mean, it's cool. It was fun. I mean, real fun to fly. Again, put that nickel in the front like I told you there. See that nickel? You need it. This thing is not balanced properly out of the box. But with that nickel there, it changes this. It's a game changer to how this thing flies. Big game changer. I wished I could show you what I was trying to do the other day. Without that nickel, this thing was flying like a dog. But with the nickel in there, perfect. So, hope you enjoyed this flight of the FX9631 from Flybear. Flybear, you really got a fun plane here. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out.
Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.